Thank you for tuning in. This is the You Project. My name is DeAndre Bell. I've been very excited to start this video, honestly. I don't know where it's going to go from here. I do have my aspirations and my goals, and I do plan on posting very often, very frequently. Hopefully it gets to the point where I can do it on a daily basis. For now, I'm hoping I can do about 3 days per week. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. Get the notification bell going so that you can see when I post. I'll also link my Instagram in the description box below if you want to get notifications that way. I want to start off by kind of explaining what this episode is about. So this episode I entitled Cleaning My Side of the Street. So what I mean by that is making sure that I can control my area, cleaning my side of the street. So essentially fixing myself before I can fix other people. Obviously that's something that everyone kind of struggles with, is they tend to put other people in front of themselves. And I know for myself, I've done that for a long time. I've been so worried about what other people think about me, and I didn't go for my own personal dreams and my own vision of success. For the longest time, I just wanted to live a normal life and be normal and all of these things. And one of my close friends, he actually asked me, he said, "What is normal?" And I never really thought about that. And there really is no one way to describe normal. Everyone has their own vision of being normal. I think that the biggest thing that people, I know for myself, struggle with is worrying so much about the future. And, oh, what am I going to do when I'm 30? How far along am I going to be when I'm 35? When am I going to have kids? When am I going to have a wife? When? And that will start to eat at you, because obviously once you have this idea in your head of where you're going to be when you're 30 or 25 or whatever the year may be, and you're not there at that time, you start to be harsh on yourself. You start to beat yourself up a little bit. I know for myself, at this point in my life, when I was 14 years old, I just wanted to get here. I wanted to get here super quickly. I wanted to finish high school, go to college, become a lawyer, yada yada, all this good stuff, all these dreams. And then I had life. Life happened. There were things that I couldn't control. There were things that I could control that I maybe handled the wrong way. And I didn't get to where I wanted to be. So when I was 21, I was no longer in school. I really didn't have the desire to go to school. I was hard on myself. What changed, DeAndre? I asked myself that all the time. I was like, what in your life changed? And I could never narrow it down. And I don't think there was one thing that changed. And I don't think there's anything that I have to be worried about. I think that staying present is the key. Stop future tripping, worry about where you are right now, and just make the most of it. Because I know that there's probably a million people out there that wish they could go back to a specific time in their life that they can't go back to. There's just no way to go back in time. It's just not possible. I know for me, I really liked high school. I thought high school was a great time, but there were things that I wish I could change. So I wish I could go back every now and then, and I'm like, hey, I wish I could go back to this time at this date and change something, whether it be a relationship problem or sports or school or whatever the case is. I always tend to think about that. And rather than worrying about right now, I think about the past, or I think about the future. And that's something I'm trying to get out of, and I'm trying to get better at, is just being more present. And when I say more present, what I mean is living in the now. And everyone has this idea of mixing, an expectation of something extraordinary in their life that's going to happen. You're going to wake up the next day and something extraordinary is going to happen. And then when nothing extraordinary happens, sometimes you let that drag you down a little bit. Oh, today was a waste of a day. Today was a waste of time. But that's never really the case. One thing that I've started to think about is, what if we think too far and we're waiting for this extraordinary event, and then we just start to miss all the ordinary events? I would much rather have a bunch of ordinary events to think about, ordinary things in my life that were just great. Times with my friends, times with my family, certain events, sports events, these sorts of things that a lot of people just take for granted. We a lot of times as humans, we take life for granted. We just expect tomorrow to come. And, I've come to the realization that every day we have to be grateful that we had that day in front of us. And I know it's kind of harsh to think about. It's kind of scary to think about, but there will come a day where you think you're going to wake up the next day and something extraordinary is going to happen, and then you don't even have anything ordinary happen. It's the harsh reality of life, but um, that's one of the things that I'm really starting to strive for is staying present, stay in the moment. Um, One of the other things that I've really been struggling with lately is, my fitness goals. Everyone has fitness goals. Everyone wants to look their best and be their best, and I think that's great. But there also has to be a little bit of progress work. So you're not going to wake up one day and just have the dream body. There are things that you have to go through. There's a process that you have to go through. And I myself am a huge example of that where I want to get there now. I want to get there now. So I'm a big sprinter versus the marathon runner. And I use that as a metaphor, not as a runner, because I am not a runner. But what I'm saying is, I wish that I could just go 100 miles an hour, get there, burn myself out, and be done with it. But to be honest, there is no shortcut. There is no get it done quickly. And that's one thing that I need to start enjoying more as well is the marathon. You need to get that marathon experience of the journey. So the entire journey is really the ordinary event that leads up to the extraordinary event. And it's really hard to grasp. I know for me, I sit there and think about, well, how am I going to enjoy, a 2.5 hour gym session, and thinking about cardio and thinking about all these different things that you have to go through in order to get what you want. There's fitness pages all over the place. There's YouTubers everywhere that talk about all these different goals. And one thing that you have to keep in mind is when you started watching them, they were towards the middle, after the climax of their journey. They hit that extraordinary event. They hit that goal look that they were looking for. But you never saw the progress. You never saw their day-to-day life. You never saw them changing their diets, their eating habits, their nutrition, their pretty much everything about their lives. You never see those things because those are behind the scenes. And that's one thing that we need to start. I need to start learning from. I need to just be somehow self-motivated to do things. One of the biggest struggles in my current life is work. Obviously, everyone wants to make as much money as possible. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people. You want to have that financial freedom. You want to have all these goals of things that you can buy. You want to buy a new car, a new computer, a new phone, blah, 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 blah. And with time, you'll get there. That's one thing that doesn't matter what job you're working. It doesn't matter what you're doing. At least you're doing something. And I think that as long as you have something that you're doing, whether you like that or not, at least you have some sort of aspiration, some sort of goal to improve upon. Whether it be moving up and going from college football to the NFL. Obviously, that's a really big goal. That's a really big dream. Only so many people actually achieve that dream. But it's something. You have something to strive for. Maybe you're working part-time and you just want to get to a full-time position. Or you work a full-time job that you really just don't like that much, and you have a job in mind that you want to go after, but you're just too scared to try. I know for me, I love my job, but there's always something more. I knew I always wanted something more. I just wanted to do something with my spare time. There was always, hours of the day where I was just sitting around doing absolutely nothing, and I knew I could have been productive somehow. So I sat and looked up Ponzi schemes and, how can I make a little bit of extra side cash? And in all reality, that wasn't what it was about. It was really about doing something that was a little bit more fulfilling, being sort of an inspiration to my younger siblings, an inspiration to some of my friends, family, just showing that you can do something that you're not comfortable doing. I watched a video about 4 months ago. I'll link it below. It's Brene Brown's Vulnerability. It's about an 8-year-old video now at this point, but her name is Brene Brown. She was a professor at the University of Houston, down in Houston, Texas, and she featured on a TED Talk, and her TED Talk was talking about vulnerability and stepping out of your comfort zone and doing things that you're not comfortable doing. Because basically what it is you're not going to change by being comfortable. You don't get better by chance, you get better by change. And that's super, how do you say, cheesy? And I've always thought that was a cheesy line, but it's super true. It really is. If you want to change something about yourself, about your life, you have to go out of your comfort zone to do that, or else you're just going to be stuck where you're at. You have to take those risks. You have to take those shots in life that you were just too scared to take. And I know a lot of people that are just not afraid to take leaps, and I'm not one of those people. And that's what I'm trying to become, is someone who is willing to go out of their comfort zone and willing to do things that they're not comfortable doing. Example A is this podcast. I've wanted to do it for 5 or 6 years now, and I just never allowed myself to do it. I had so many excuses. I need a better camera, I need a better computer, I need this, I need that. And it just was not the case. The fact of the matter was I was scared. I didn't want to put myself out there. I didn't want to get vulnerable because I had to change something. I had to change something about my daily life. And essentially it made me accountable. Doing something with yourself, doing something you've always wanted to do, will give you that accountability. But doing it publicly gives you a huge accountability aspect. If you're telling people, here's what you should do, here's what you should try, but then you're not doing it yourself, you don't practice what you preach, so people are not listening to you. I'm a prime example of that. For the longest time, I talked about being a better person. I talked about, I want to quit drinking, I want to get healthy, I want to do this, I want to do that. But then the next weekend, I was out partying with my friends. I was eating a pizza with my friends. I was eating Chick-fil-A for lunch. I was doing all these different things. Hey, I want to save money, but then I go and order a bunch of stuff that I just didn't need off of, Amazon or at work or wherever I was buying it. And, doing things that keep you accountable are big. But doing something publicly that will keep you accountable on your day-to-day life, and that is probably one of the hardest things to wrap your head around. But that's one of the things that, I always wanted to do, was just inspire other people and help people out. When I was younger, I wanted to be a lawyer. I thought about becoming an architect, and most of the reasons behind those was I want to help other people. I want to be able to defend people who can't defend themselves. I want to create things for people that can't create them themselves. And that is one of the biggest things for me, is just helping other people. And I may not portray that all the time. I know that. I know that for a very long time, I just was someone that no one wanted to look up to. No one wanted to be. And I'm not saying that I'm a completely different person now, but I'm at least trying to better myself. And I'm starting to not worry so much about what other people think about it. Alright, so to close off this video, what I really want to talk about is the beard. I have never been a big facial hair guy. I never thought I would want to have a beard, and I really don't, but the No Shave November cause is actually a lot bigger and a lot more important than a lot of people think. I'm going to link here how you can get the information about No Shave November. No Shave November is an annual charity event where men don't shave, groom, or cut their facial hair for the entire month of November as a way of raising awareness and money to fight cancer. And I did not know that for the longest time. I thought it was just, oh, people just don't shave for the month because it kind of rhymes or it makes sense, or No Shave November. Like, oh, cool. Not for me. But then I saw this and I was like, wow, that's actually really cool. So I did go to the website. I donated a little bit to help fund the research for cancer, because that is huge, and they've been working on that for years. St. Jude's is a super big charity. It's super important, at least to me. And you start to see some of the beautiful things that they're actually doing. I follow a guy, his name's Frasier Wilson. I'll link him in the description below as well. I follow him on Instagram. He is also doing the No Shave November, and he has a whole donation site set up, so I'll link that as well if you guys are interested. I did go ahead and purchase one of the No Shave November t-shirts. That's really cool. I will do a screen grab of that so you guys can see what it looks like. They're super cool. Goes to a super good cause. Give it a try. Again, go out of your comfort zone, try something that you're not used to. I do, again, want to thank everyone for watching. Please click below, like, subscribe, comment some things that you guys struggle with, comment some things that you want me to work on, comment some things that you're trying to change about yourself.